Yeah, dude. Oh man, who invited you here? Oh, you already see this. This is beautiful. Unreal. What's up? Yeah.
Oh, you got it now, dude.
Oh no. Oh. Stop.
Oh, this is so funny. Wow, just like that. Boat in water. I mean,
It's gonna be a sick weekend with old friends, and the sunset on the first night definitely did not disappoint. We had a relaxing evening, but I can't say the same thing about the morning.
good morning.
Wow.
We start the day checking out downtown and stop at the Guthrie Theater for their famous yellow room. We then head over to Matt's for their world famous Juicy Lucy.
What do you see?
Dude, it's really thick.
Wow, that looks dank.
Probably done two of these, to be honest.
Wow, that is dank. Lord of the foils. Gonna try foiling.
Three, two, one.
We finish the night playing the second best card game ever invented, and then deja vu, another rude awakening.
Good morning.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's tons of
Oh
frogs.
my God.
Wow, there's a lot of frogs. Wow. We're on a nature walk. Nature. Yeah. Woo. All right, let's get some mountain biking in.
So it's probably common knowledge by now that you guys know how much I like to travel. I was in Chicago, I got a text from a buddy. He said he's taking the boat out on the river to go wakeboarding, jet skiing, a bunch of water sports, and you know I had to join. So yeah, I had a super fun weekend here in Minnesota at his house, but I went on Bravo and I saw two spots. Running ACES and Canterbury Card Club. They're like horse racing tracks. I'm gonna jump into some of those games. I think they play pretty small considering the fact that here in Minnesota, it's a spread limit game, not no limit, meaning you can only bet up to $100 on any street for the $2 to $100 buy-in level. If you guys are interested in seeing what Minnesota poker is all about, stay tuned. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and let's get right into the hands. Let's go. The 1-2 is an uncapped buy-in. I'm in for $1,000. After picking off a $200 bluff in the first hand, we look down at ace-queen offsuit from under the gun, and of course I raise it up to $12. A vlog watcher who goes by Brian, he's in the big blind and he puts in the call. We're going to see a flop heads up with him, which comes queen 10-9 with 2 spades. Top pair and the ace of spades in my hand is worthy of a c-bet. When he checks it over to me, that's what I do, and he pretty quickly puts in the call, bringing in the 3 of clubs on the turn. When he checks to me for a second time, I think we can be mixing between betting large and checking behind. If we bet large, we're protecting against hands that have a jack in it, and we're also protecting against hands that have 2 spades or 2 clubs. When we check behind, it's to disguise our hand and get value on the river, provided one of the many scare cards do not come in on the river. I decide to check back in this moment, and that brings in the river, which comes the king of hearts. Not exactly the best card because hands like queen jack, 9 jack, 10 jack all get there, but that's some of the risk of checking behind. When he leads out small for $15, I'm getting a pretty good price. I'm not going to fold second pair with the best kicker. I put in the 15 bucks and he shows me one of those hands, queen jack offsuit. So he wasn't going anywhere on the turn if I bet like 40 or 50 bucks. Either way though, I lose that hand, but no worries. I look down at my favorite hand in this next one, pocket sevens from the big blind. Small blind opens it up to $10. I put in the call. Could also be 3 betting, but in this moment I just called. Brian on the button puts in the call as well. We're going 3 ways in between 2 opponents to a flop, which comes ace-6-5 with 2 clubs. The small blind now checks it over to me, and after he gives up the betting lead, it's unlikely he has a strong ace in his hand, so I decide actually to bet out into the field for $10. $10 isn't really going to get too much done, but if I set this up here and then bet on the turn in the river, the story could check out and we could get some folds from better. So when I bet $10, Brian on the button folds, and now the small blind goes for the check Rizzo up to $26. Uh-oh, weird spot for us, our hands in the cookie jar, but we do have a pair and a runner-runner straight draw idea, so I put in the additional $16 looking to see what the turn card brings in. It comes the 5 of clubs. Not a great card because it pairs the board, doesn't improve us in the slightest, but now when the small blind checks it over to me, I respond with something funny. If I bet, are you gonna double check raise me, or you're just gonna call this time like a normal person? Not gonna go for a bet. I check behind, and that brings in the river card, which gives us the boat. It comes the 5 of hearts. Obviously I have a boat, but when he leads out into me now for $44, it's a pretty gross spot. We have a bluff catcher at best. He still could be valuing a hand like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, and then we'd just be in a bad spot. I decide to lay down my cards and pick a better spot, and the small blind's gonna win that one. Next hand, we're in the hijack with ace-10 of diamonds. I open it up to $15, and the button and Brian, who's the under-the-gun limper, he puts in the call as well. So we're going 3 ways to a flop, which comes jack 5-4 with 1 diamond. Brian checks it over to me. I'm in between 2 opponents. I usually start with a check. That's what I do, and the button checks behind, bringing in the 10 of hearts. We now have second pair. When Brian checks to me for a second time, I'm gonna go for value and also get protection from some hands like king, queen, ace, king, so I decide to bet out for $15. Only the button puts in the call. Brian waves the white flag, and that brings in the king of diamonds on the river. I'm first to act, and I go for a blocker bet of $10. Not looking to face a large bet or a raise, so yeah, I bet out for 10 bucks, and the button just puts in the call. I turn over my cards, and he shows jack 8 of diamonds for 1 pair, so it's likely we saved a little bit of money on the river, because if I checked to him, he probably would have bet around half pot. Either way though, we're trending downwards, and that's not good news, but you know what is? Looking down at the ladies. I open it up to $15 from middle position, and now Rudy puts in the 3-bet, which is normal. What's not normal is 3-betting to $115. With pocket queens, I'm not going anywhere. I actually didn't look at his stack. He has 130 in his stack, so when I just put in the flat call, I probably should have just put it in for 130. Either way though, we're gonna see a great flop of king, queen, jack, bang! We flop middle set. Great spot for us. Too bad there's not more money behind, but it's against a vlog watcher named Rudy, so I'll be happy with $130. He goes all in for 15 bucks. I put in the call, expecting him to show a hand like king jack, king 10, but instead he shows 7-5 offsuit. So yeah, Rudy, you're pretty much dead on this flop, and let's just go to a run out anyways. Turn comes the 8 of spades, the river comes the 10 of hearts, and just like that, we're gonna take down that $230 pot. Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
On to the next one. We're in middle position with ace 10 offsuit, and I raise it up to $15. We get 3 callers, so we're going 4 ways to the flop in a $60 pot, which comes ace, ace, deuce, bang. We flop 3 of a kind. Pretty great spot for us. Not exactly sure if I should be leading out into the field or checking it for deception. I decided to check, and the action gets checked around, bringing in a 9 of spades on the turn. And the action's on me. I need to go for value now against hands that have a 9 in it, maybe some pocket pairs like 10s, 8s, things of that nature. I bet out for $25, and we're only going to get called by Dave, who bought us a beer in that last clip. Oh, Dave, you're in some trouble here. And the ace of hearts on the river now gives us quads. We have quads here in Minnesota, and it gets even better when Dave bets out into us for $50. Obviously, I have the ace in my hand, so he probably has a 9 or a strong pocket pair, considering he filled up now on this river. When he bets for 50, I'm going to put them all in. He only has around 110 effective, and he pretty quickly puts in the snap call with 1 chip. I show him that I do in fact have the goods, and he ends up mucking queen 9. So yeah, he had a boat on the river, but we make quads, and here in Minnesota, that's good for a little bit more. We just need to fade the next 23 minutes. King, queen of spades is the next hand we're going to do battle with. I'm on the button, and Tony under the gun raises it up to $8. He gets 2 callers, and I'm going to 3-bet here up to $35. Does that get any folds? Absolutely not. Everyone puts in the call. But we're going to see a flop multi-way here, which comes queen 7-5 with 1 spade. Pretty great spot for us, and the action checks over to me. I'm on the button, and I decide to bet out for $55, around 1/3 the size of the pot. After betting 1/3 the size of the pot, we get a few folds, but don't tell Brian that he's in the cutoff, and he check raises me now to $155, which is definitely a strange line. Could he have a set here like pocket 7s or pocket 5s? Sure, although I don't know if check raising here is the best move to get all the money in. He also could have a hand like ace queen or queen jack, I guess, but check raising is definitely a strange play, and I got my eye on Brian, but I can't be folding my king queen suited just yet. I put in the call.
Check dark.
When the turn comes the jack of hearts and Brian checked dark over to me, I'm not really sure if I should be going for value or if I should check behind. I have a great pair, but him check raising on the flop is definitely worrisome. He also could have a hand like 6-8 or 6-4, I guess, and maybe just try to blow me off a hand. And then now he's checking once I call him for 155 on the flop. When he blind checks over to me, I decide to take my option, take that free card and check behind, bringing in the 6 of clubs on the river. He doesn't blind check this time. His check is after he saw the 6 of clubs, and the action's on me once again. I think I actually make a mistake here. I need to go for thin value, somewhere around 75 to 100 bucks, but I'm a wimp and I check behind in the moment. He turns over queen 10 of hearts, so I quickly flip over my better hand. And like I said, yeah, I think I missed a little bit of value on that river. Somewhere around 75 to 100 bucks would have got us paid off. Either way though, we're taking down that $450 pot, and Brian, you made the vlog.
Look at this, got the $200 high hand for those quads. We held for 30 more minutes. We got it. Right, Brian?
Right.
Right.
This one.
Thanks, man.
Winning that $200 with quads feels pretty great. It also feels great looking down at pocket 4s, Ethan's favorite hand. I'm on the button and I raise it up to $15. Only the small blind puts in the call, and we're gonna go heads up in position to a flop, which comes king 10-5. Definitely a great board for me on the button. I'm the pre-flop aggressor, so when he checks it over to me, I decided to bet my range advantage and fire out for $10. I don't really need to go too big. I think 1/3 the size of the pot is a good price. I'll get a lot of folds and print money that way. So when I bet out for 10 bucks, we actually get looked up by the small blind this time, which brings in the queen of clubs on the turn, connecting the board a little further. When you think about it though, when he just flat calls me pre-flop, he's not gonna have too much ace, king, king, queen, pocket 10s, and I'm gonna have all those hands in my range. So when he checks it over to me for a second time, I decide to overbet the pot for $55, putting him in a tough spot. He ends up mucking his cards, but he folds showing a king, so that's a huge win for us. We obviously have 5th pair on this board, so getting top pair to fold is an absolute tragedy from the small blind, but a huge win for us, and we're gonna keep on moving, taking down yet another pot. I'm in the big blind now with ace-jack offsuit. Few limps over to me. I raise it up to $15. We're only going to get looked up by Brian in the small blind, so we're heads up in position to a flop of 4 deuce-deuce rainbow. He checks it over to me, and like I said in that last hand, gotta go small. I'm going to have a lot more of the strong pairs in my range. I bet out 1/3 of the pot for 10 bucks, and we get a fold from Brian, so we're going to take that down with ace high, which most likely was the best hand. Move on to the last hand of the night, where we look down at king-jack suited from the cutoff.
I open it up to $15, and we're gonna get looked up by the button and under the gun. We're going 3 ways to the flop, which comes Jack 10-9 with 1 spade. Pretty juicy, action-packed flop, if I do say so. Under the gun checks it over to me, and I'll usually check over to the button, but with a strong made hand already, and we also have the backdoor draws, like a queen could come in or running spades, and we'll have a great hand, I decide to lead out into the field for 20 bucks. Button puts in the call. Under the gun decides to get out of the way though, so we're off to a turn which comes the 8 of spades, and there's 85 bucks in the middle. Obviously picking up the 8 of spades connects the board, so any queen or 7 will have us beat, but we have 2 spades in our hand, so that's a good backdoor draw to have. I decide to bet out for half pot for 40 bucks, and he pretty quickly looks me up, which is definitely worrisome. At this point I think I'm beat. He probably has a hand like Jack 10, Jack 9, or he could have a hand with a queen in it like Queen Jack, Queen 10. Either way, we're gonna need some help on the river, and the 10 of clubs definitely is not that. There's 165 in the middle, and I decide to bet small for $15. I'll also do this on occasion with very strong hands looking to induce. When I bet 15 bucks here, it's hard for the opponents to raise me because I also could be doing this with strong hands. He in fact does put in the $15 call, and he turns over Queen 10 offsuit. So yeah, he had the straight and decided not to raise me, which is pretty great news for me. I think I got off pretty cheaply, saw a showdown. Unfortunately, we're not going to win that one, but I did book a win on the session. We rack up our chips and head over to the cage.
All right, you guys, that wraps up this session here from Canterbury Park. The clouds are coming in, it's gonna rain, so we gotta do this quickly. Got into that game for 1,000, out for 1328, so profit of 328, but the fun doesn't end there. We got the high hand, quad aces for $200 more, so we made 528 on the session. Pretty good hourly there for a few hours. People here in Minnesota are super cool. If we can get those spread limits up to no limit, that'd be even better. So call in here to Canterbury Park and tell them to raise it to no limit. That'd make the games even better. As always, really appreciate all the support on the videos. If you guys liked it, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, comment down below. Good luck on the felt as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.